I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home!
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Say hello to my little friend! It's a man, baby! Fuck you, retard!
Oh, behave. Yeah. Why so serious?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
I am Iron Man.
I love it when a plan comes together.
It's the Man Show with Cav Manning and Mr. Billy Body. Hello, Billy. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I enjoyed our last show, our last conversation we had with Gigi Pete. Gigi Petite.
I'm enjoying the show in general. The only part of it I'm not enjoying is the NFL.
Which I think we should get into right off the bat. It's been a very difficult season when it comes to betting and point spreads and everything like that. It's really all over the place. Last week, I was rolling for a while. I did win money. I do a lot of parlays. And I do a lot of parlays where I put $5 down and I'll bet like fucking 6 teams or something. And, you know, so you get your money's worth. So I did $5 and I won 140 on one of them. Never mind all the other fucking ones I lost. But last week I was 8-7. Because I actually picked the fucking Browns yesterday. And boy, oh boy. I mean, I think a lot of it, I think the coach will be fired this year. Because they shouldn't be this bad, but that offensive line doesn't do anyone a favor. And when you have a shit offensive line, I don't care if it's fucking Brady or Rodgers back there, you're not going to be able to do shit. It's run for your life, and it's a miracle. It's lucky that Baker Mayfield can run because he was fucking running all over the place where anyone else who's like not a mobile quarterback would have just been fucking sacked constantly. And they're like, oh, 2 interceptions or whatever. And I'm like, well... that one is not his fault that hits the receiver in the hands and he throws the ball in the fucking air because he can't catch it. And it goes into another guy's arms. That's so not his fucking fault. And I really wish that was a new rule change. I wish they would have interceptions on receivers. And kind of like in baseball where somebody judges errors or not, they judge, is this on the quarterback or is this on the fucking receiver? If the fucking receiver falls on his fucking face, and the ball's going right to him and hits the guy behind him and it's an interception, that ain't the fucking quarterback. You look at the stats, you go, you threw an interception. Bull fucking shit. Or if it hits the guy in the fucking face and bounces off him and another guy catches it, that ain't your fault. So, how was your betting this week?
Oh, awful. Awful. Like, I decided to cut it down and just take a couple of games that I liked. The thing is that it sounds okay like on paper because the game that I liked the most was the Bears and Raiders, the Bears Raiders game, and then I like the Ravens at Pittsburgh, which pushed, and then I like the 49ers that won, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like I did okay overall, but the thing is that I went for 2 units on the Bears, plus I had the under in the same game because I like 2 bets. And bet more on the outcome. So already I was 300 down. I won nothings on the Ravens when they should have won by like more than 3. So and ended up pushing there. I pulled like 1 unit back yesterday on the 49ers. But just before the game was going on, I looked around and to see what other people were tipping. Nobody was picking the game because they were saying, oh, they didn't like the number, but a lot of people expected San Francisco to win. But some people were making cases for Cleveland. But everybody was going over 46. This number's too low, over 46. So I ended up like reading up on everybody's reasoning, which I never do because it got to the point where I was like, okay, so maybe like it's time to like start fucking listening to other people's opinions because like you just ain't grasped it this year, especially in the last 2 weeks. So I end up putting out the play over 46.5 points, right? Which wasn't actually a bad play because San Francisco missed 3 field goals and Cleveland put up 3 points. So if you told me that San Francisco were going to put up 31, that bet's pretty much going to win. But it didn't. So in the end, I end up losing money on a game where I picked the winner days ago as one of my like favorite bets. So out of the 3 games that I really liked this week, I ended up losing 3 units on the Bears game, pushed on the Ravens game, and then ended up losing half a unit in the San Francisco game. And then just because I couldn't help myself, ended up putting in this these little tiny additional plays, which was 1 total and the parlay as well. And Chargers fucked the parlay up on the last game of the parlay.
Do you get your money back on a push?
Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky. Anywhere I've ever seen, it's they keep your money if it's a push. You don't get shit back, and it sucks.
But I'm not understanding how even things like that in terms of the parlay's coming in pretty easy. It's a teaser parlay, so I needed the Eagles just by 7, and I can't remember who else was on it actually. To be honest with you, I mean it was no problem getting in the first few, and then the Chargers, who didn't even have any, who were taking on the teaser, were taken down to actually getting 1 point because they were like 5.5 point favorites, so they ended up getting like 1.5 points, which means nothing. They lose at home to Denver, like. You can't figure
San Diego is impossible to figure out, or LA, whatever the fuck they are now. They're one of the ones I'm like, I want the Bears to like trade for fucking Phillip Rivers. I'm like, get him out of there. It's the same thing at that place constantly where he's the only one there.
But nobody's losing to fucking Denver this season.
No.
Like Denver were like fucking dumpster fire.
Maybe it's because it's division rivals. That always is different too.
Yeah, but on the road as well. Like, I can understand division rivals. If it had been in Denver, altitude, I wouldn't have touched it. But how Denver going into fucking Chargers and winning? Like, it's just ridiculous. And the thing is that around me, because I like, you know how we found a way to like buy the picks from the other people.
Sure.
Like now I've like created like fucking 8-9 email addresses. And the thing is that, you know, if the picks lose,
and it's not subscription, it's just one-time sign up.
Yeah, but one-time sign up. But if you don't win, you get your money. You get the picks again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still on receiving free picks from the people that I signed up with in week 2. Right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys at this company, Robot and all the other people as well, because I basically found a way to. I opened 8 emails and signed up to everybody. I'm still receiving free picks up to week 6 because they've lost 2. And I haven't played their picks or given them out to my clients, but I've monitored them all. So if people think it's just me, it ain't just me. Like I saw this guy 8 unit pick, which is $800 on the Titans. That was his play of the week. They got beaten by Buffalo. Like I saw some people that like matched up with me. The biggest play of the week, which everybody had, 6 units, 8 units, like nearly out of the 10 handicappers that I've subscribed to, 6 guys played Chicago at various numbers between 4.5 and 5.5, even 6.
Mm-hmm.
They all lost.
It makes no sense because you go, okay, they never do this goofy math that should be the way where you go, okay, the Vikings killed the Raiders, the Bears killed the Vikings. So they should kill the Raiders. No, they get whooped. It's like, oh my fucking God. I was just like so fucking annoyed.
And the thing is that I left out some of my own plays. So in terms of like, I like these plays, and then I looked at these experts, and then I sort of go down the consensus route of, okay, I like these 7 plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see how many experts agree with me. And the thing is that the Ravens and the Bears ones were sticking out the most.
Mm-hmm.
My other place, right, where I really like the Eagles minus 14 because I didn't see how the Jets were going to score. They won. I didn't play it. New York are a terrible home team. I thought the Vikings were going to bounce back and bash them. They did. I don't have a play on it because the consensus stuff doesn't match up in terms of not a lot of guys were on the Vikings, not a lot of people were on the Eagles. So I end up going to leave it. And the thing is that in general, my NFL's not bad, but in things, what I'm actually putting out as a play isn't really working out. So I think for this week, I'm just going to go back to doing. I think honestly, at this point, it has to be less research. It has to be less work. Like in terms of, I'm working too hard. I think I need to just sort of step back and look at the games and go, do you know what? These are the couple of plays I like in terms of what I think of this team and what I think of that team, and just basically simplify it and go, yes, the Jets are garbage and Miami are garbage and Washington are garbage and they're not going to cover any spreads, because it's as simple as they're shit and the other teams have more to play for. So they're just going to beat the fuck out of them. This whole like scrappy, gutsy, we don't want to be 0-16 performance is not coming from these teams. Like, so let's just, and until it does, let's just make money on it. And like, let's fucking simplify this thing right down to the basics, to the point where a fucking amateur gambler could be making money on this sport. And I honestly think an amateur would be doing better. Like, you know how we were joking last week how you could throw a dart and do better, right? I think an amateur, not like obviously throwing a dart, but I think someone coming in and looking at these teams and going, oh, they're fucking 0-4. Let's take them against the spread. That would, or go looking at New England and going, oh, they're good. Let's bet New England every week. Mm-hmm. If you bet New England every week, you would have won 4 times and lost once. So it wouldn't have been a bad thing to do. It's like this simple stuff that you've taught yourself not to do for like the whole time. Like, for example, don't bet on your own team. Well, I had 3 locks on my own team for the first 3 weeks and it won. And I would have cashed my own team as a 2-1 underdog last week too. The one week I have a massive bet on my own team that they don't run the ball twice on the 1 yard line and end up losing to Philadelphia at home. But I took them not because they're Green Bay. I took them because they're a home team on a Thursday against a team with loads of injuries. But it's just fucked up. Like, I don't know where to turn with it next. Well, let's go through the games and I'll see if I can find anything.
And you know what? It's almost worth doing it's because it's a dollar for dollar is if you just do straight out who will win and no point spread. That's almost easier. You just parlay that and try to double what you can and, do 5 games or something. You know what? Do you remember my lock last week?
I don't know.
I took the Rams.
Right.
And I ended up winning that one by half a fucking point. It was 1.5 points. I'm like, I can't believe they didn't outright win, which they really should have. If the center would have snapped the fucking ball and not have delay a game. But nonetheless. All right. First game is on Thursday, and it is the Patriots at home against the Giants. Obviously, we're picking the Patriots to win this, but now it's a matter of the points. And I would say the Patriots are favored by 13.5.
No.
Okay.
No, the favorite by 16 points.
Mm-hmm. God, that's a lot, but I'd still take them, I think.
It's weird they're playing on a Thursday. I don't remember seeing New England on Thursday before.
Other than the start of every year, because they're always the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, apart from that.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't like the game because there's a history between the Patriots being flying and then coming up against the Giants and losing. But yeah, I think they'll cover the spread.
The Panthers going into the Bucks. Now, I believe this is in London, and I was debating on this game. I'm like, I think I'm going with the Bucks because it's home field, and the Bucks have all of a sudden looked like they could score and all that kind of shit. As soon as I heard it was in fucking London, I changed my mind and went with the better team, which I feel is the Panthers. I think the Panthers might be favored by fucking 2.
Hold on. Sorry, I was looking at these weird like requester bets that were there just a minute ago. Yeah, this one's moved back to the 2:30 kickoff time that you guys don't like. Yeah, it's the Panthers by 2.5.
Look at that, 2.5. Yeah, it's for me. It's 9:30 in the morning and the game starts. Actually, it's not for me 9:30. It's West Coast. I mean East Coast 9:30. So it's even worse. Yeah, because every other game starts at 1:00 East Coast. I'm picking the Panthers just because it's going to be on neutral field.
Who's the home team?
It's Bucks.
Tampa.
Yeah, fake home.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick the fake home team.
Okay. The Redskins going to the Dolphins. Now, this is for the battle for the first pick in the draft. I want to pick the Dolphins because they're home, and with Rosen at quarterback, they get beat, but it's not as horrific. But I said they would go defeated this year, and I got to stick with that. I don't know how the hell the Redskins hung with the fucking... they hung with the Cowboys, and they hung with the fucking Eagles. I don't know how it's fucking possible. But I will take the Redskins in this one.
They're 3-point favorites, by the way.
Only 3. My God. I wouldn't touch this game, though.
No.
Who are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that they're going to go 0-16, the Dolphins.
Okay.
So.
This one's interesting. The Eagles going into the Vikings. I actually think the Vikings are favored by like fucking 3 because of their home. And I'm actually picking the Vikings to win this game. They're a different team at home than they are on the fucking road.
They are favored by 3. And I think, again, I don't think the Eagles will come in and beat 2 teams in this division, this NFC North. Mm-hmm. I'm still annoyed, honestly, that Packers lost to them because we could be 5-0 at this point, which we should be. So that performance, I mean, it wasn't even an overall performance. It was just a couple of bad plays. Those bad plays are the reason why we're not. I mean, the game against Dallas is probably the best that they've played now. So they look like they're quick into gear. But
Dallas can't beat any good teams.
This Minnesota team, they're very simple what they do. They win at home, and then they pad it out with beating the really bad teams on the road. So, but when they face a good team on the road, they lose.
This will be very interesting if they could beat the Eagles, because now it's an actual good team they'd be facing. So it's like, okay, they're not one of those that can only beat the bad teams, but if they lose to them, they can only beat bad teams.
Right. I think.
Good.
But they do beat good teams at home. They beat the Bears. They didn't beat the
Bears. Yeah.
No, they've beaten the Bears and the Packers and in recent years, like even with Kirk Cousins, they've won their home games.
They haven't beaten the Bears in a couple of years, actually.
Or they not beat the Bears at home last year.
No, remember that last thing of the season that you were like that you should have let them win. That was for them to get into the playoffs, and they couldn't do it. But yeah, they are a different team at home for sure. They do play tougher, and they play tougher against divisional. I think that's always a thing too. Familiarity, you know how to beat a team better than you can against a team you don't see much.
Oh yeah, that was right. You beat them to get to make sure the Eagles got in.
Yes, to have the Eagles fuck me.
Wait, didn't you Yeah, and then you beat them with like a load of starters rested as well.
Yeah. You know what though? Not quite sure. I don't think they did. They played them. They actually fully played them to win, and I was like, I don't know, this coach.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was like saying you deserve to lose now.
Yeah, they were like, fuck this. Okay, the Texans go into the Chiefs. This should be an actual good game. If the Chiefs didn't have that big stumble, you would think, okay, they could get bit. But I think after they lost to the fucking Colts, they might wake up a little bit now and be like, we got to put the pedal to the metal again. I'd say the Chiefs are favored by, oh boy, I'm only going to go with 3 because fucking Watson's throwing for 8,000 yards last week, and the Chiefs have a shitty defense. So I think Vegas might think about that.
Yeah, they're favorite by 4.5. But if I can find it while we're doing the show, there's a statistic about Andy Reid after a loss.
Oh, like one of those like a Belichick, never lose 2 in a row.
Yeah. So the thing is that Andy Reid, or is it Andy Reid after a bye?
I think it's him after a bye, actually. That he's like lost once or something.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's that instead. Otherwise, this would be. Okay, I'll have a look through while you're doing it.
So, what are you thinking? You think the Chiefs should bounce back?
Yeah, I think there is a record about Andy Reid after a loss as well.
Okay.
Chiefs look to renew trend of post bye week success. Maybe it's the bye. Maybe it's just the bye thing then.
Yeah. The Saints going into the Jags. I'm thinking the Saints are gonna eventually get fucking bit one of these fucking weeks. And you know what? I'll tell you my pick for next week. I think the Bears will actually beat the Saints next week, just because it's fucking goofy, and it's like they'll finally just get bit. Someone's gonna fucking bite them. And after a bye week and all that kind of stuff, I think finally Teddy Bridgewater will come down to earth. But I don't think it's this week against the Jaguars. I think they keep it going with that good defense. So I'll say the Saints are probably favored by. I'll say the Saints are only favored by 3.
No, it's a pick'em game. This one.
No shit. Because I guess it's because they're at the Jags and they have a good offense. So, it's the only thing you think about is because they're not at home. But then again, Jags don't have any home field advantage.
Except when they're in London.
Yeah, the second home. The London Jaguars. Your thoughts?
I think getting Saints at this price, a pick 'em price, I think you take them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The Seahawks are going into the Browns. Oofa. I mean, the Browns being back home after being fucking whooped like that. I'd still take the Seahawks to win this, though. But
the Browns haven't won a game at home.
Jesus. Well, they barely won a fucking game. God, I will say that this is a fucking God. Oh my God, I'll say pick 'em.
Where's it gone? I came out of it. It is a pick 'em. Well, no, Seattle are favorites by 1 point.
1 point.
So you're there.
Fuck. Yeah. When I'm that much, like, I can't tell you who the fuck I think is going to win. I picked the Seahawks outright to win this game, though. I really think that coach is fired. I think they give him the actual season, but he gets fired. But then again, hell, they might fire him after 10 games and be like, fuck this. But why bother? You know, it's not going to help you after that long of a time. However, the schedule gets a lot easier for the Browns, like after week 10. But by that time, it'd probably be too late.
I still think that they will win they'll win their division.
Really?
Because their division is terrible.
I think the Ravens are better than them.
I don't. Well, that's why. How did they just bash the Ravens in Baltimore?
Yeah,
like 2 weeks ago. So I mean, I think the Ravens, like, that defense is, but on both ends they've been found out. Like they beat some crappy teams, but we now know that, like, they're crappy teams. So I mean they only just about beat Arizona as well. And then last week they beat Pittsburgh when fucking the third string was out there, and they still needed to go to overtime and win it on a turnover. So I think the Ravens are shit. And I think just by the fact that 8-8 is going to end up winning the division, like it's going to look like a good season that the Browns are in the playoffs. So, and the thing is they could get fucking dangerous when they get to the playoffs as well. Like,
if they get hot on the way and figure shit out.
I don't even know about that. Like, I mean, they seem they could get there with, like, win one, lose one, win one, lose one kind of thing.
Jesus.
So.
Well, speaking of the Ravens, that's the next one. It's the Bengals going into the Ravens. And I say the Bengals are getting 10?
11.
Close enough. That's a lot. I'm like 10. You think that 10.5 kind of ruins it, you know? I might take the Bengals with the points, but outright I'm picking the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know who the Bengals are also going to beat this season. I haven't seen the schedule, but they look like they're as bad as the Dolphins. Like that game they played against Pittsburgh was awful, and then off the back of that, they played so bad. And that was even the whole divisional game thing. And I took them there, and I took them last week at home to Arizona, and they lose that game as well. So I don't know who they're beating, and I don't know what spreads they're covering. Like this has to be a game where Ravens could do something similar to what they did to Miami and win this by 25, 30 points because the defense is going to be able to stop them as well. I can't. For me, this is one of the easier games. I think, even though it's like that double-digit number.
Yeah,
it's not even, but it's still not even 2 touchdowns.
How did they almost beat the Seahawks and look so good week 1? They looked really fucking good.
I think that just surely has to be down to Seattle just
sucking,
starting lazily. Yeah.
Shit. The 49ers are going into the Rams. I'd say the Rams are favored by 3 points.
I don't have that one.
Okay.
I don't have that one here. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's because they played yesterday, or there's an injury or something, but it's been taken down.
Let me see. I'll look on mine. Let's see what they say. I just don't think. I think if the Niners win this game, I think then they could start to believe. If they get fucking smashed in the fucking face.
What I'll say is what I said earlier, is that the 49ers are now the favorites to win the division.
Rams are favored by 4.
Yeah, the 49ers are favorites to win the division.
Well, this is going to say a lot. And can you imagine the Rams losing 3 games in a row? That's hard.
But once stuff starts to snowball and the realization is there that this team are not as good as they were, then it can happen, can't it? I mean, it's happening to other teams around the league. So,
yeah, it's almost like you got to capture lightning in a bottle when you have the chance. God knows I know. Falcons going into the Cardinals. This is another fucking trash bowl. The Falcons are fucking dog piss. Absolute dog piss. And I'm picking the fucking Cardinals in here. And I think the Cardinals, you know what? The Falcons should be fucking favored in here. And if they're favored, it's by 1 point.
It's by 2.5 points.
I'm picking the Cardinals. I'm just never picking the Falcons again. They're frauds. They're soft. They have all this fucking talent, and they suck.
Yeah, I agree. I watched them last. I was keeping an eye on that game last week, and I was just annoyed that I didn't put Houston down as a bet. And the thing is, that's the problem. I go off teams. I had a lock on Houston that didn't come in. So it was a week before against. Fuck, who did the Texans lose to?
The week before that, was it Carolina?
That's right. Yeah, it was Carolina. So I faded that backup quarterback, and he's actually okay, and the defense is playing well. And then they end up destroying the Falcons. But the thing is that I didn't want to take them back to back because they already let me down. But the thing is that because you never know with the NFL in terms of when a bad run is coming. Yeah. But the thing is that there's not too many runs this year. There's like kind of these teams get wrong and they get right and they get wrong and they get right. So it's really weird one to like call.
It's weird because I would take Matt Ryan as the quarterback for my team in a heartbeat. I think he's fine. I think it's more the rest of the fucking team. I think it's a lot of problems. It's not just like, oh, he's throwing interceptions or something, because that's not the case. It's just the whole thing is, it's almost like they might want to fucking blow shit up and start over after the season. I wouldn't doubt if there's a fucking fire sale for some of these teams, because it's like, well, we're not winning with them, so we might as well trade them off. So one of those fucking things. If that's the case, the Bears better be in fucking line. The Cowboys going into the Jets, which means the Cowboys will win because they're finally playing a loser team. They can only beat bad teams. How bad is that? The 2 losses, they played fucking 2 good teams and fucking been shit. They've played garbage teams and won and think they're fucking great. I'd say the Cowboys are favored by fucking 13.5.
The Cowboys are only favored by 7 points here.
Really?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
That might be a take that fucking. Yeah. I think you'd have to. They're going to be pissed from that last week, and they're going to take it out on a garbage fucking team.
Yeah, why is it only 7?
I'd take that now before it fucking changes.
Yeah, we might end up locking up the same thing here because we both looked at that number and we're like, I'm scratching my head unless I'm missing out a whole ton of injuries I'm not aware of. But, I mean, the Jets aren't even like fucking, they're not even that scrappy.
They don't even have the quarterback back yet. So, I mean, it's going to be shit. Yeah, there's our lock of the week right there, guys. Cowboys by more than 7. The Titans going into the Broncos. Do you know who the Titans are signing today?
No.
It was a guy who hit 2 field goal posts in the playoffs.
Oh my God, your old kicker.
Yes.
Why would they sign him?
I have no idea. I'm like, why? What is this? I'm like, there is nothing else out there.
Surely does he not like have a regular job now, like somewhere else?
Oh, the guy got fucking $7 million a year from the Bears. He doesn't really need to fucking have a job. He's been in the league for fucking years, so he don't have to do shit. He could sit on. I'm surprised he even wants to come back out there. Maybe you want to redeem yourself and not end your career that way, but that's bad. And I'm like, they're not doing anything anyway, these Titans, so who gives a shit? I'd say the Titans are favored in this, but not by a field goal. I'd say they're favored by... I'll say they're favored by 4.
No, the Broncos are favored by 2 points.
Really? Just because they're at home, I think.
Yeah.
And they don't have that Chubb anymore. They don't have a Chubby.
Well, the home field is supposed to be worth 6 points more, I think, than what a neutral field would be. So I think what they're basically saying here is that the Titans are 4 points better than Denver on a neutral field, which is right, I would say.
I don't know.
If this was a Super Bowl, you pick Tennessee as a 4-point favorites.
Yeah. God, that altitude better help them because I can't imagine that the Broncos should win this. All of a sudden, they'll win 2 in a row. The Steelers are going into the Chargers. I'll pick the Chargers, and I think the Chargers are probably favored by 4.
They're favored by 6.5, but I think that's because that third string guy has to play again, right?
For the Steelers?
Yeah.
Isn't it what third string? Isn't it only the second guy, that Rudolph guy?
Yeah, but I said to you earlier, Rudolph got taken off with a concussion against the Ravens, and the third string had to play, and they still fucking took it to overtime. It was 17-13 when he came off, and then the third string guy came on and led a drive down for a touchdown.
Oh, jeez.
That's how fucking unlucky I've been.
I didn't even realize. Fuck.
Yeah, so I think he's playing again this week because I don't think he would be recovered from that concussion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can Google it now and have a look.
Last one, and it's on a Monday, and it's the Lions going into the Packers. If this was in Detroit, I'd probably pick the Lions because it's like that's the Packers' Achilles heel for some reason. They lose to the fucking Lions. It's very odd. It's very much like Bears always lose to Packers. There's just one team that's always just gets you. I would say the Packers are favored in this, and I'd say they're favored by 3.5.
Yeah, favored by 4.
This could be a good game because the Lions aren't dog piss anymore, apparently. I don't believe it still. If the Lions beat the shit out of the fucking Packers in Green Bay, I don't even know if I'll believe it then. I'll just start to think, well, it's division game, so it's close.
Yeah, I think Packers getting like the lot. Well, I mean, when did Detroit play? Are they coming off a bye here?
Yes,
because I didn't see them.
Off a bye.
But it's weird because the bye doesn't mean as much when you play on a Monday because the other team have a lot of time off as well. I think if you want a bye week, the almost ideal situation is to be playing Thursday night football because that's a real advantage then. I don't think it's as big of an advantage to go on the road on a Monday night when the other team have had 8 days off, because you know, there's enough time to recover.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's our NFL, and we already gave our big pick was the Cowboys, because that's crazy. You want to talk a little bit? We'll say spoilers for everybody. So if you have not seen the Joker yet, don't listen to this segment. And I'll even put it on the title that after NFL we'll talk about the Joker.
Is that how can you spoil the Joker? Because the thing is that we know that this guy ends up being like fucking Batman's enemy. So nothing's going to happen in this film where like it's spoiled to the point where, you know, you don't. I mean, he's not going to die in this film, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want to know the. I don't know. You know what? You're kind of right about that. I mean, but you don't want to know any little tidbits about how certain things happen or something.
I guess.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But so I guess we won't really spoil or anything. We won't be specific about things. But $93 million this weekend, the largest opening ever in October. I thought it was fucking fantastic, but very much like I expected it to be. With like Star Wars, the new Star Wars shit. Well, the second installment of Star Wars, where we saw the birth of Darth Vader, shit like that. Where I said, I bet you Darth Vader shows up 5 minutes before the movie's over. And my friend fucked with me, and he goes, no, Darth Vader's in there like half the movie because he was named Darth Vader at half point, but he didn't become the full fucking monster yet. But I'm like, I bet you we don't see the Joker until it's fucking done, which is pretty much the case. And it's like how he gets into that, what, you know, causes him to be pissed off, which is almost so every fucking bad guy movie or anything. You notice that it's always you got sympathy for the bad guy because they're really not bad. It's people that fucking caused this.
Well, the thing is, that's what a lot of people are complaining about with this film, because they're writing and saying, oh, they wrote you you end up sympathizing with this murderer. Yeah. But it's like, you know, what did you expect? Like when you're going in to see the film The Joker, you're not looking for a fucking clean message.
Yeah,
I don't get these fucking pussies like complaining about everything that's ever been made all the time. It's like not everything is there to like be clean cut and to send a nice fucking positive message, and you know, and for everyone to like be a role model off the back of it. This is a fucking comic book film about a fucking villain. Like, you know, you get what he says on the tin. So
the you know, there's a couple murders obviously by Joker, and there was one that I said, I go, it's very fucking realistic. And I had mentioned to you there was a guy named R. Bud Dwyer who killed himself on television. And I said, this is what it reminded me of. It was very real, and I sent you a video. If anyone wants to see, you go on YouTube and type in R. Bud Dwyer. And it's uncensored. There'll be other videos there, but you'll find the one it's right at the top. Uncensored. He was a treasurer in Pennsylvania, and they accused him of taking a bribe, and he was going to be sentenced to jail. And there's evidence that says he was set up and it was bullshit. It never happened. And they were going to make an example of him. And he was like, I never did that. I'm innocent. And he called a press conference, which everyone thought was going to be him resigning. And he gave out a couple letters to everyone. And then he pulled out a fucking 357. And they were like, oh, fuck. And I was listening to some of the reporters talking about it. And they said, we didn't know if he was going to kill us first. Because in his speech first, he talks about the media just attacking him like a piece of meat and not really, you know, going for the facts. And so they thought maybe he'd be like, well, I'm going to take you all out first. But he took out this gun and everyone's like, whoa, 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 no. And he's like, stand back. This will hurt somebody. I don't want this to hurt anybody. And he backed up, put the gun in his mouth and pulled the fucking trigger and hit the floor. And the camera zooms right into him and the back of his head is popped off. You know, it's really, I mean, you see something. But blood's pouring out of his fucking nose from everything inside. I'm like, wow. I mean, this was on the fucking television. And 2 channels played it, apparently. And the other ones didn't. Did you find that video? Were you in shock when I sent that to you?
Yeah, it was fucking disgusting.
It's a really good fucking video. Before we go, I want you to pick a number between 1 and 400. I have a book in front of me that is called Would You Rather? And it gives you a choice of would you rather do this or would you rather do that? I want you to pick a number, and we're going to close out the show with a would you rather.
I'd just go to like 250.
250. Okay. 250. Let's hope we landed on a good one. Okay. If you had to do it all again, have parents who partied too much and had no morals, or were militantly strict and always went by the book? Which would you rather have? Strict parent. Now here's where you make the choice. Strict parents must salute dad when he drops you off at school. Your math teacher is frightened of mom. Make a mistake and you have to do 50 push-ups and 100 sit-ups. Dinner, steak, potato, green beans, and tossed salad. Must wash and wax the car, fill the tank before using. The party parents. Mom gets your date high. Dad screws your date. Your math teacher is sleeping with your mother. Make a mistake and you have to buy smokes and lottery tickets for the folks. Dinner is hash brownies. First night out with a new driver's license and you get pulled over. Turns out to be your folks' car is hot. Which would you rather have?
At this juncture, you take the strict parents, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I don't want my parents fucking my dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'll salute my father, I guess. So, okay.
That wasn't a massively difficult one. Are we done with the Joker review, right?
Yeah, we're done with Joker. Unless
do you think we
have
should
more
talk
to
about
add
it?
to it?
Do you think we should talk about it more next week? Like, so that we don't spoil.
Yeah.
Because, like, I want to get into, like, the whole communist movement, like, that he started, like, that came from his actions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing. Is I don't know whether they were fighting for communism. Like, you could say they were. Like, what I mean by that, communism's like, obviously, where everybody gets an equal chance and every equal opportunities. Sure. And all that kind of stuff. Whereas this was kind of like more so, we're poor, it's not fair. Like, let's fucking rebel against the rich people.
Yeah, I think we can do the whole entire review next week because if somebody's into this movie, they're not going more than 2 weeks without watching it. So next week, full review.
Yeah, because I can't really speak about the incident. I mean, I can't. Yeah. I mean, the outline is obvious, but if I talk about the specific incident that sparked off his sort of the way that he became, let's just say the way that he become, the origin story of how he becomes this way, because the thing is that obviously we've seen Joker films before, Batman films before, and the Joker's already there, he's already a gangster, he's already got loads of people working for him, but then this story tells like how he's like poor and has had a bad childhood and whatnot, and then you wonder, so if he's had a bad childhood, which is said in all of them, right, then how does he end up getting, and he's poor, so how does this poor guy with a bad childhood end up have all these people working for him? But the thing is that they cover that, they piece that together, well, obviously throughout the whole film, and it's all kind of really centers around one incident, but I can't talk about it.
The mother stuff blew my mind, and we'll talk about that too, because I was like, oh my God, when certain things were revealed.
Because did your own mother do that to you?
You're probably not thinking of the part I'm thinking of. That's why, because it would be a no. All right.
Oh, what are you talking about? When he giving her a bath?
No, that was disturbing. I'm talking about the letter. What was in the letter? Right. I was like, oh my God.
But that wasn't true though. Like, and the thing is like.
Well, now you're spoiling for people. You say that. Because if they're going to fucking see that letter fucking part, they're not going to know it's not true. You ruin it. So I'm gonna have to write spoilers in here. I'm like, that was the thing. I didn't know it wasn't true until, and I go, fuck, they changed the story around. I didn't know this.
So when did you know it wasn't true? When he went into the mental institution and got the records?
Pretty much, yeah.
But how surprised were you, like, how he reacted to that in terms of like how he was with his mother after that?
Yeah, that was interesting too. He'd had it at that fucking.
Oh, the one part I didn't understand, and I still don't understand now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the black girl,
just disappears, right?
The black girl in his building, in terms of her being around and whatnot, the whole time. That means that he inherited the condition that his mother had as well, in terms of the delusional part, right?
Oh, you didn't think that black chick existed?
No, she existed, but the way when he was picturing her.
You don't think that he was like really with her then?
No, he wasn't. That's a fact.
Oh, I didn't realize that at all. I was wondering why she's upset.
You're wondering why she's upset when he came. They showed you, Cav. They showed you that when she said, "You're," because she said to him, "You're."
You're. What's his name from down the hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the times they'd shown him together, they went back and showed that. Did you not see the bit where they showed him together and then they showed him with her not sitting there, and then they showed him like they showed all the places they were together, but like she wasn't really there.
God, I fucking completely fucking don't see. I gotta go back to the movies tonight. Fuck.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Oh my
really
God,
there.
I was wondering the whole time. I'm wondering how come she's just not involved anymore. I go,
my God,
did she just break up with him?
No, he imagined she was there because when they went back, like they showed a little. How did you miss it?
Wow.
Like, they showed like him with her. They showed him like him with her, and they showed her like
Fight Club almost.
Yeah, so they had like one shot of him with her, and he was laughing. Then they showed like what other people saw, which is him laughing by himself, and he was talking to her when he was imagining she was there. I
must have been fucking losing my mind. Maybe I'm the fucking crazy one.
I was worried about spoiling for other people. And
you spoiled for me. You helped me.
So the thing is that the whole time, like, so I was thinking, obviously, did he inherit the condition for his mother? And also, when he left the apartment, like,
he couldn't have inherited it. We know that.
Oh yeah, okay. So when he left the apartment, were we to assume that he just fucking killed her as well because he's angry?
Oh, I don't know. I think he was just. I figure he's just distraught and fucking left because she said get out. God damn, it's totally now. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go watch.
Were the police after him as well on the way to the studio because the little midget had gone and said what he did in the apartment?
You know what? Well, they were coming and question him all the time. Yeah. So it was, I need to talk to you again. One of those. So I really didn't think that he got told on, but I thought they just showed up again.
I thought like there was a big laugh in the cinema, that bit where he like pretends he's gonna like grab the midget
and he couldn't reach the fucking yeah, I got that too. Everyone in the theater was like, oh fuck, when he couldn't reach it. It was like, oh no.
But they laughed when he pretended that he was gonna go for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he faked lunges at him. Yeah. All right, we'll do this next week. This will be good because I want to maybe go again. I might. The girlfriend fell asleep during it, and I'm like, I feel like I did now. Fuck.
It was a great film, but I don't think I could watch it again. It's pretty fucking rough, like the first hour.
Yeah, it's depressing as fuck in the first. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us. If you want to, if you listen through this, make sure you go to subscribe to the Man Show. Type in the Man Show podcast on.
And if you watch the Joker film, like make sure you like concentrate like fully.
No shit.
You might miss them. You might miss them.
You might miss a fucking big thing. Oh fuck! I'm sitting there laughing like a fucking maniac myself now. Shit.
I've missed like a fucking major like storyline development.
Yeah, I'm like now wait a minute.
Did you go to the toilet?
No, I never did. Now I'm like, so that guy was the Joker the whole time? Who was the guy in the white mask paint though? What'd he do with the fucking other guy?
So I'm seriously though, on the bit like where he goes into the apartment and she says, "You're in the wrong apartment." right?
Yeah.
What did you think was going on there?
I just thought she was like, what the fuck is he doing walking in uninvited and not knocking?
Okay, so you don't remember a bit where they showed them together, and then they showed like in the same shot they showed like so they would make her disappear from the shot, and then they would show them.
I didn't even fucking realize. That's why I'm
They-
like,
they-
what the fuck was I doing?
So they showed her sitting with him in a hospital, and then all of a sudden she's not in it. So they go to the hospital. So she's sitting in the hospital,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden she's not, and then they make it disappear. To
I
see
didn't
if
even
she's
notice
not.
that she fucking disappeared. Oh man, I can't wait to watch again. I'm going to
That's
watch.
odd.
Jesus.
Well, let
All
me
right.
know when you watch.
I
Just
sure
send me a
will.
text.
I'm gonna try to go this
Send me a
week.
text.
I will.
Send me a text because
All
I'm
right.
going to see if we do a film next week. Because if we do another film next week, I'm going to see Gemini Man. But I don't think you like Will Smith, do you?
It's all right. I don't really care too much though. That's not for me. I gotta go see Joker again if I'm gonna go. I go to the reclining theater place and I spend $100 every time I go to the fucking movies. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, like I went to see It with Nick, and it was fucking expensive.
Yeah. All right. Rate, subscribe, review the Man Show podcast. It's got a yellow background, looks like a magazine cover. That's what you want to subscribe to because eventually it's not going to be on the Dirty Sheets feed. It is only going to be on the Man Show feed. I've been Cav. He's been Billy. We'll see you next time.